Welcome back to the Perimeter Defense Basketball Podcast. I'm your host, Queen Chill Mode, and in today's episode, we're talking about budding, simmering NBA rivalries. If you think NBA rivalries disappeared with Kobe and Duncan, or when LeBron went west and he said goodbye to the Eastern Conference and it wasn't LeBron and versus the Celtics, maybe you're not watching closely enough, because the NBA's next rivalries are already happening. Not someday, not eventually, but right now. I mean, we're talking young teams, superstars in their early primes, playoff grudges, trash talk, and division battles. Today we're breaking down the NBA's budding rivalries, while the OKC Thunder are at the center of two of them, while Detroit is beefing with half the Eastern Conference, and how Luka Dončić, becoming a Laker, turned the league upside down. This is the NBA's future, and it's already here, already heated. So let's talk about it. Let's start with a rivalry that really wasn't planned. You know, when we talk about OKC Thunder versus the San Antonio Spurs, it feels like the league's first true Gen Z rivalry. I mean, think about it. December 13th, 2025, NBA Cup semifinal. San Antonio takes the game 111-109, snapping OKC's 16-game winning streak. And from that moment, the tone shifted. I mean, this rivalry is driven by star power, of course. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Chet Holmgren on OKC side versus Victor Wembanyama on the San Antonio side. I mean, and Wembanyama didn't just win. Oh, he was talking. Yeah. Mid-game taunts, post-game shots. And his words. You're only winning because I'm not on the court. Now that I'm playing, you're tasting a real loss. Okay. Then came the now infamous line, we play pure and ethical basketball. Honey, that wasn't subtle. That was intentional. And of course, Holmgren's response, measured, competitive. No beef, just, I don't want him scoring on me. Two personalities, two approaches, same fire. I mean, we know that while this rivalry is on the cusp of becoming one of them ones kind of rivalries, I mean, because as basketball fans, for the most part, most NBA rivalries usually really formulate based on playoff appearances against each other. Teams having to go to battle against each other time and time again to try to get to their ultimate goal of getting out of the conference and ultimately winning the title. Obviously, these two teams haven't done that with this group. You know, OKC is that team that's at the throne. San Antonio is a team on the upward movement, trying to get up. They're coming. They're trying to rise in the Western Conference and in the NBA, all at the same time. While OKC, which is just as equally a young team, is trying to maintain that level of excellence. And so, while this rivalry is on the cusp of becoming that type of rivalry, it won't actually be solidified unless these two teams can build some playoff battles against each other. Now, keep in mind that over the next week, however, they do play each other Tuesday and then again on Christmas Day. So, yeah, we'll see what the next chapter in this rivalry has to show. But again, this isn't like the first rodeo between the OKC Thunder and the Spurs. There is history, you know, OKC and San Antonio. It goes back to the Kevin Durant and Tim Duncan playoff wars. Different stars, same tension. But this isn't even OKC's most dangerous rival. Because again, another rival that they're in the midst of some of these younger teams, or teams that are led by younger players, is the one they have with Minnesota. Now that's a rival that's been building based off of playoff battles, you know, and that's the one I'm talking about. If OKC versus Spurs is stylistic, then Thunder versus the Timberwolves could very well be personal. OKC Thunder versus Timberwolves has quietly become one of the NBA's most intense Western Conference rivalries. And the league knows it. I mean, think about it. All four of their 2026 regular season matchups are all national televised games. So that right there tells you that they know something coming. That doesn't happen by accident either. So let's rewind a little bit. May 2025, Western Conference Finals, OKC, they eliminated Timberwolves in a 5-game series, 4-1, on their way to winning their title. That series changed the relationship. Then there's division battles. In the 2024 season, OKC, Minnesota, and Denver, they all finished 56-25. The Thunder took the Northwest Division on the tiebreaker. So margins couldn't be thinner. And at the center of it all, SGA versus Anthony Edwards. Two future faces of the NBA, or if not already there. Different styles, same confidence. Shea with a more calm, methodical, surgical style of play, where Anthony is explosive, emotional, and fearless. And after that Western Conference Finals loss, the Timberwolves didn't hide from him, especially Edwards. Minnesota knows OKC is the bar, and every matchup now feels like a measuring stick. This isn't a rivalry built on words, it's built on playoff scars. Detroit Pistons don't care about being liked. Every main rival, every decade of the NBA has had a villain that has led to multiple teams rivaling with one team. And if that were the case with this group, this decade or this era of young players or young teams, the Detroit Pistons would fit the bill. They're building something physical and confrontational. Let's start with the Pacers. Now, those games have had everything: hard fouls, technical fouls, ejections. I mean, Isaiah Stewart sets the tone. And when Halliburton is available to play, he talks back. Yep. Then, of course, there's Detroit versus Cleveland. Same division, kind of similar rebuilding timelines. And it always comes back to Cade Cunningham versus Evan Mobley. Those two were part of the same draft class. Cade going 1, Evan going 3rd. And then, of course, add in the other teams in the Eastern Conference that are led by younger people. You got the Orlando Magic and Atlanta Hawks, young teams fighting for the same space. And then there's, of course, if we get away from the Eastern Conference rivalries that Detroit, or some of the Eastern Conference rivalries that Detroit has built over the last few years, and just simply take it from an individual standpoint. You got Cade versus Jalen Green, who's now in Phoenix. A rivalry elite keeps spotlighting for some reason. But of course, they went 1 and 2 in the draft, with the same draft class. Green felt like he should have been the first pick. Cade is always trying to show him, no, you don't. You shouldn't have been. That's why they chose me. And Detroit they don't need a crown yet. They just need confrontation. I mean, they are coming for everybody. Detroit versus everybody. That's the rivalry that they have. Everybody and anybody can get it. Now, when the villain moves west, and I won't even say Luka's a villain, but Luka Dončić became a Laker, and the NBA changed overnight. The trade for Anthony Davis instantly created bad blood with the Mavericks, so that instantly heightened a rivalry between the Lakers and the Mavericks based on an individual getting traded and wanting to show that organization, baby, you made a mistake. Okay, first game back though, in Dallas, 45 points and a statement win. Now every matchup feels personal. Add Luka versus Devin Booker. Had their battles against each other when Luka was with Dallas and Phoenix. Had many times in the playoffs, and had many highly competitive and confrontational battles amongst each other individually. And then, of course, Luka in Dallas, Anthony Edwards in Minnesota at the time had met each other a few times in the playoffs, and so now that continues with Luka in a different uniform, and of course both players still trying to fight for Western Conference supremacy, as well as get to the finals and ultimately win the ultimate crown. And then, of course, the biggest one of them all, Lakers versus Celtics. I mean, who can forget the baseline rivalry of the NBA? You know, the rivalry that'll never die, because it's the foundation of rivalries in the NBA, based on two franchises that are the standard, of excellence in terms of the multiple championships they've won throughout many different decades. And so now that there was always this Luka versus Jason Tatum thing going, even when Luka was in Dallas, because of the fact that both players were young. Many people felt like these are going to be guys who will always be in the hunt for MVP honors of the league. And so, of course, there was that rivalry that was simmering a little bit. It never came to fruition to the point where it became the biggest NBA's must-watch rival. But at the same time, the fact that Luka is now a Laker, it even heightens it even more. So you got two players who are two primes, of course, when Jason Tatum becomes available again, two legacies and one rivalry just reborn. So rivalries don't disappear, they reset. In this generation, they're not waiting for permission. They're meeting in the playoffs, they're fighting for divisions, and they're making December games feel like May. The NBA's future is loud, and it's already here. But which rivalry do you think defines the next decade? Are there some rivalries that I missed that you feel like will be even bigger rivals as we move forward into the next few years of the league? Subscribe, tap in, and let's keep the conversation going.